Welcome and thank you for joining us today. I'm Paula Nicholson.
And I'm Lisa Hayden.
And together we are proud to bring you Faces Behind the Fight. Lisa, tell us about this project.
Paula, this is an opportunity to meet some amazing people, hear their stories, and be inspired by the people who are fighting cancer through research. One of the important people that we're going to be learning about is Fiona Elsie.
Fiona was a 13-year-old girl, and during her treatment for cancer, she was treated by Professor George Arcus, and she made him make her a promise.
Paula, I was lucky enough to catch up with Professor Arcus a couple of days ago, and here's what he had to say. Professor George Arcus, we know that you're the Director of Research at the Fiona Elsie Cancer Research Institute. We know you've got a great relationship with all of your patients, but there was something special about your relationship with Fiona. Tell us about that.
Yes, Lisa, I first met Fiona at the Royal Children's Hospital when I was a cancer specialist there, a haematologist, oncologist, and I happened to be on ward service when Fiona came down from Ballarat to be admitted for when she presented with a tumour involving her leg, which was a Ewing sarcoma, which is a rare cancer of bone. We hit it off because I happened to be her cancer specialist, and that was that's how we first met, but also that I was actually from Ballarat. Even more so that I was actually commuting each day to go to the children's by train in those days for six and a half years. So that was at the beginning when I first started the Children's Hospital.
George, she asked a promise of you.
So Fiona was a very special girl. She had advanced well beyond her years in terms of her maturity, because she was faced with a cancer that was initially responding to treatment, and then later on in her illness it didn't respond very well. And she ended up having palliative treatment, in other words, supportive care at home. And I was the person who was bringing her morphine on a regular basis from the children's in those days to her home each night. So that's how we got to have a very special bond near the end of her life. And yes, it is true, she did ask me when she was at that stage of her illness a very special promise, and that was that one day that we would set up a cancer research centre or institute here in Ballarat, and I did say yes to her.
Yes, it's a story of a very courageous young girl, George.
Yes, as I said, she was well mature for her age, and she was able to look at life in a different sort of way, because when she was actually having her treatment at the Children's Hospital, she realised the importance of research very early on. And even before she had her cancer come back, she was keen on all aspects of research, because that's where she saw where the developments were going to be in the future.
Yeah, amazing for a girl going through what she was going through. And obviously that was the beginning of the vision of the Fiona Elsie Cancer Research Institute.
Well, I didn't know it at the time, but that, in retrospect, that's where it all started. Mainly because Lisa, her mother, Gail, was there. And she was the one that also catalysed the idea of Fiona's wish.
Yes.
And she kept that wish going.
Yeah. So a dream from a young girl who was dying, supported by her treating doctor and her ever-loving mother. So it's really important, and family, it's really important that we understand the work that now goes on. So
we've come a long way from Fiona's dream to her wish to the fulfilment of that wish. Has been a long journey. She died in October 1991, and we spent it took about 7 years after that for the first laboratory to be opened here at the earliest possible stages. So it took a fair bit of time.
Yes.
For that to develop, but there was certainly a concerted effort of support from Ballarat community. Gail, Greg, her father, and the family have all been very keen to support research. they initially supported my research down at the Children's Hospital, and then an opportunity arose for me to come to Ballarat as work full-time up here. And one of the prerequisites that I had was that I had to have an area for a research laboratory to be set up, otherwise I would not come.
So to honour the promise that Fiona had asked of you?
Well, it was certainly part of that, because I couldn't imagine coming back to Ballarat and not fulfilling her wish, and certainly Gail and her family would never let me forget that.
Yes,
so I think that was one of the things that I had in my negotiations to come here and work full time. It was a very big change for me, because I was a career cancer researcher and a paediatric oncologist and hematologist, and I actually changed my training program to become an adult oncologist and hematologist, so I can actually live and work in Ballarat. And that was a decision I made at that time. And as a result of that decision, I was able to then work out a way of how we were going to establish a laboratory here with the aid of the community support that we had at that stage.
So one young girl has had a profound effect on a young doctor, and then on a community and a world of research.
Well, yes, she probably would be very happy looking down now on what has been established over the years. It was not that easy to get it up and running here. But I think there was a lot of passion for this to occur,
yes.
A lot of goodwill,
yes.
And a lot of community support that is the hallmark of this institute. I'm pleased to say that we are standing as we are now as a result, with an international reputation, as a result of the goodwill of the community, the family and friends of Fiona Elsie, and of course Fiona herself, are the key people that have let this happen here in Ballarat. We certainly have not had government funding. It certainly hasn't fallen out of the sky. This has been a very hard-fought battle to get to this stage.
Professor Arcus, thank you for your time, and we look forward to hearing from you very soon.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
What a fascinating story.
It is an incredible story, and Professor Arcus is a world-renowned scientist. We're also going to be meeting other people who are the faces behind our fight.
In coming episodes, we'll be getting out and about and meeting those who actually assist us in the way of supporting our events, sponsoring our research.
The people behind the scenes in our laboratories, and even those who are enduring their own fight.
We're also looking forward to hearing from you, our viewers, so if you have a story that you'd like to share,
or if you'd like to become involved in our cause,
or if you know somebody, or if you are currently dealing with cancer, let us know and we'd love to share your story. Thank you for joining us today. For more details, please visit our website.
And please join us for our next episode of Faces Behind the Fight, where we go behind the doors of our laboratory and meet some of our scientists.
We'll also catch up with Gail Elsie, Fiona's mother. So it's goodbye for now.
See you next time.